Welcome everybody to All Hallows Eve cast. When the veils are thin and the moon is high, spirits come out to play.
And the skeletons pop out.
God damn it.
Yes.
And here I was trying to have a nice, spooky intro for our Halloween episode.
It lacks skeletons, dude. Come on.
Fuck you.
Yeah. You want to go really spooky, you add a fucking skeleton.
You see Drift over here? He knows. He knows.
Alright, well, welcome everybody to the second episode of Game Cult Radio. I am, as always, your host, John, and this is our Halloween episode. Our second episode seems to fall on Halloween. If any of you are wondering why we didn't have a recording last week, it was because we had to migrate over to SoundCloud. Or from SoundCloud to YouTube because reasons. I'm not going to actually mention them and sound like a dick towards SoundCloud because I actually like SoundCloud. Anyway, we are over on YouTube now. This is probably where you're watching it and you probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, let's move on. Tonight's topic is going to be horror. Everyone's favorite fall pastime really is horror. Whether it be books, cartoons, movies, you know.
Grave robbing.
I am grave robbing. We've all been known to do it.
Ritualistic
Creepy
sacrifice.
pasta.
Oh, that just goes without saying.
We do a lot of ritualistic sacrifice around here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been sacrificed before, actually. In fact, I am not even alive right now. I'm dead.
That's quite right. Quite right. Drift is actually a skeleton.
Mm-hmm. So there are skeletons involved.
Dun dun dun.
So actually the thing is we're all skeletons, but the disappointment that was Destiny that we talked about last time, it just killed us, and here we are.
Yeah.
We were forbidden to rest after that.
We all killed ourselves from the disappointment that is Destiny.
They call me Rhino the Skeleton Johansson.
Johansson. All right. Anyway, yeah, horror. I know. Me and Drift are big horror buffs. Rhino, you not so much, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Rhino is probably just more likely just gonna be chiming in on occasion, but it's probably mainly gonna be me and Drift talking tonight.
I can deal with that.
I think we should obviously start out from where exactly we started in horror. Like what going all the way as far back as we can remember. What was your first horror experience? Maybe not your first encounter with a scary movie. Maybe like being told a ghost story around a campfire or seeing something on TV that generally scared the piss out of you. And it just kind of got you interested in it.
Now that is a question I'm going to have to think about because for as long as I can remember, I've just been a big horror buff. I'd like to say, well, Halloween actually wasn't, when I was younger, in my younger days, I surprisingly did not dress up in scary costumes for Halloween. When I was like around 8, the young ages, I would usually dress up as cartoon characters or movie characters. I remember one year I was Buzz Lightyear, another year I was Woody.
It seems very common for younger kids to dress up as less scary things. I just got back from a huge gathering of people and children for a Halloween event, and most of the time you start seeing the scary costumes when kids hit around 13 to 14. They start getting in that age when they start becoming teenagers. That's when the scary costumes start coming out. But generally speaking, younger kids they tend to do more cartoon characters or or superheroes. I see a lot of little Supermans, little Spider-Mans.
I think what really got me into horror though, I actually think it was the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Ah, classics.
Yeah. I watched those when I was 13, and Needless to say, the one scene that I will always remember from those movies. Well, actually, there's two scenes I will remember from those movies. Um, I was around 13 when I saw the first Nightmare on Elm Street. 13, 12, something like that. And I, it scared the crap out of me, to be honest. But, pretty sure it scared everyone at that age.
Yeah.
The scene that always, always stuck with me was the Johnny Depp, death scene.
Oh God.
I forgot his character's name, but just
it was
seeing
Johnny
him
Depp.
back to the bed, and then the fountain of blood coming out soon after that.
Yeah,
that shit traumatized me.
that shit is scary. Like that shit was scary
Yeah.
when I was younger.
Even the effects to this day, it still holds up, and it's still,
yeah.
it still just creeps you out.
I think we can all agree that practical effects trump CGI every damn day.
Hell yes.
CGI is a lazy fucking cop out, especially when you go back and watch the classic horror movies. Personally, some of my favorite horror movies is the Evil Dead series. Those are just such good fucking movies.
Practical effects. A good example of that actually reminds me. Another thing that got me into the horror the horror genre was John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, good God. That fucking
movie.
every piece of that fucking movie is just a giant chunk of nope.
Yeah. I mean, the whole the creature itself, the whole isolation from the rest of the world.
Oh yeah.
It's just downright terrifying.
You want to know what scene stuck with me from that movie the most?
Yeah.
The dog.
Oh God, yes.
I'm a huge fucking animal lover. And you hear the dog, as soon as you hear the whimper from the dog, I was already like, no.
Messed you up.
Yeah. I'm the dude who cannot watch those like ASPCA commercials with Sarah McLachlan.
Oh
like
God.
The music. I can't fucking watch those. I cry like a bitch. I do.
I know. I really hate those two.
They're so damn effective because my family pays ASPCA, which is why I do not feel guilty about changing the channel. I don't care what the fuck I'm watching. I don't. I don't care what the fuck I'm watching. If that commercial comes on, I am watching a different channel.
ASPCA commercial. John's real Halloween.
Oh God, yeah, no. I can vividly remember the first time I was ever truly terrified by something. I was young, really, really young, like maybe 4, maybe younger, maybe a little older. I'm not entirely sure. A lot of my childhood's kind of a blur.
Let's hear it.
I don't remember the name of the program, what channel it was, or why I was even watching it.
In before Candle Cove.
No, it wasn't Candle Cove.
Oh.
I don't think it was Nickelodeon. I don't even think it was near Halloween. But I was watching something, some sort of program with my brother, who is 7 years my elder, and there was a guy in this really big messed up vulture like outfit, like think Big Bird on chemo that started doing meth.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I got that image.
Yeah, but it's a vulture. Shit was terrifying. And I was a little kid, like little kid. And I don't know, and it was chasing 2 kids, and it chased them down an alleyway. Now, I was a little kid, and I think at the time I had just recently been to Chuck E. Cheese for my birthday. And people in suits have always fucking freaked me out. I've always hated Chuck E. Cheese just because people in suits walking around and looking at me. Unblinking fucking eyes, creepily just tilting their heads and trying to animate themselves.
It's me.
It's fucking terrifying.
It's me.
Shut the fuck up.
Is that
Which
why?
we gotta bring up Freddy now that you've mentioned Chuck E. Cheese.
God-
we gotta
God-
bring that up. I'm
God
sorry.
damn it. Fuck. Horror video games. It's actually a good transition, I guess. Well, let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, a game I will never fucking play.
It's really fascinating. The more I look into it.
It's so simple.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so
concept.
amazingly simple.
Yeah.
But after
it's-
learning that the things on the walls change, like,
It's subtle. Okay, it's not that subtle, but
no, the changes on the walls are
the changes of the walls are subtle.
It's enough to scare you.
Yeah. No, it's definitely enough to scare you.
I think the star of the show. You think it would be Freddy, but honestly, in my personal opinion, it is Foxy.
Listen, when I first saw somebody on YouTube encounter Foxy, like, fuck.
I know. Just seeing him running down the hallway, just headed straight for the security room.
Hey, you kids want to see a dead body?
It's
Wait,
terrifying.
you're a dead body.
Oh god, it's just everything about that fucking game just screams to me I'm never fucking playing this because it's got the animatronics which are fucking creepy, which is and that brings back my terror of the fucking people in suits. Gritty is nasty. It is and it just oh my god. And what really makes that game shine is the backstory, like Rhino said, the shit on the walls changing. You actually read that stuff.
Yeah,
Fuck, that's creepy.
there's a lot of lore to it. There's surprisingly.
There is a
good
surprising
lore.
amount of lore to that simple of a game. It's quite remarkable, really.
I love it, honestly. I love when a game can do that. Just present something so simple, and you get so much backstory out of it, especially a horror game.
Oh yeah.
They could have easily.
kind of like how Dark Souls did it. That's such a subtle element of storytelling that if you just powered through Dark Souls without like trying to learn more information by like reading item descriptions or stuff like that, you don't learn near as much, and you draw so many more conclusions when you talk to people, when you find their dialogue, when you find their items, when you find stuff related to them and you read about it, and you can start drawing all these pictures in your heads of how the world works. It's kind of how Five Nights at Freddy's did it. It was so simple, so almost out of the way. You have to actually go look at it and had to think about it. And that's what really made that game shine, which made it more that elevated you above all that YouTube bait shit.
Yeah.
Which is what I've heard a lot of people say it is, but I don't think so. I don't think it really. I think it's more than that. Just like Amnesia. Amnesia is very similar. It started out as kind of YouTube fodder, but the actual story of Amnesia is quite intriguing, and it speaks to me on a very deep level because it gets into my favorite kind of horror, which is existential horror. But I'll get into that in a minute.
I don't play a lot of horror games at all, but I've seen a lot of people play them, and what I like about Five Nights at Freddy's is like it's not just a ghost or a spooky dead thing or whatever. It's a fucked up animatronic.
Yeah. For some reason, that just makes it infinitely more terrifying.
Like,
Well, yeah, it makes sense because you think of it makes sense to me because animatronics and combining an animatronic, what's a good example? Like Chucky from Chuck E. Cheese, yeah. With like that's for children. And when you just break it down and make it so terrifying, that it's not just for children anymore. It could scare anyone.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. I like how you can just. Oh, that's another thing that leads me to something else. I like how you could just take something that, by all respects, shouldn't be terrifying, and just the slightest change can just, make you just shake out of fear.
Yeah.
I think a good example of that would be the uncanny valley, thing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys know about that?
Oh, yeah. Now, for those of you who don't know what the uncanny valley is, the uncanny valley is was actually a term coined in the field of robotics. And what it essentially means is the closer something gets to looking humanoid, the more we seem to recognize it, and the more we find it intriguing or cute or interesting. But there's a point. Right before the peak, that it drops significantly, it just plummets straight to the bottom of the chart, and then shoots right back up. That's called the uncanny valley. It's something that's just close enough to human, just close enough to something we would recognize as a person, but something's wrong. Something small, something innocuous, that makes us just go, ugh. All you have to do is Google freaky robots, and you'll find tons of these things.
No. I got a good suggestion. YouTube, I feel fantastic.
Oh God.
If any of you guys want to be freaked out or just want to know the feeling of just what the uncanny valley is, YouTube, I feel fantastic, because that is just creepy.
No.
Okay, well, maybe you don't have to do it, but it's definitely it's a good example of what the uncanny valley is.
Yeah, I think animatronics kind of hit the uncanny valley a little bit. They move just human enough, and they seem just close enough to people that they fall into the uncanny valley.
I think I Feel Fantastic's the only video I've seen that from, regarding the whole uncanny valley thing, because it's a singing animatronic, but it looks human, but it's not. You could
And it's just to that point though where it seems just human enough to be unsettling.
Yeah.
There are a lot of videos on the topic of the uncanny valley. And really that's where a lot of horror comes from, is the idea of the uncanny valley. And the idea of taking something that's harmless and turning it into something that's harmful. Take Child's Play, Chucky.
Yeah, that's what I thought of.
A child's doll that's a killer. Now, ignore the movies themselves because they're kind of shit.
Yeah.
They really are kind of shit. Now, this is coming from a guy who cannot stand the slasher genre. They're just like bunch of teens getting hacked up by a madman or a crazy dream monster or an undead zombie like Superman with a machete. I hate that genre. I hate those kind of movies because for me, there's no real terror. There's the occasional jump scares and there's a lot of gore. Now, gore is good when used properly, and there are some really good like practical effects in those movies, but I don't find them scary. They're just not scary to me, and that's because I've always been in the camp of an H.P. Lovecraft style of horror.
Oh, yeah.
If you want a good example of H.P. Lovecraft's writing, there's a really short story called Dagon. D-A-G-O-N. Dagon. You can find it. It's in a lot of the compilations of his books. I've got a I've got a Lovecraft book right here. It's The Call of Cthulhu and Other Weird Stories. This is a really good collection. If you want to know more about H.P. Lovecraft and his style of writing, this is what you pick up because it's really fucking good. And Dagon is the first story in here. Like right after the introduction, Dagon's the first story in here. It's really good. I highly, highly recommend it.
You could also get the Necronomicon. I mean, that's not
true.
expensive. I think it's only like $20.
It's not that bad. H.P. Lovecraft, I think, is still one of the greatest horror writers that's ever existed. Even Stephen King says he's probably one of the greatest horror writers of the 21st century. When Stephen King says, this guy's fucking scary, this guy's fucking scary. And if you want real scary, you just Google a picture of this guy. Dude looks like a fucking ghoul. He looks like Nosferatu had sex with a corpse.
Oh, yeah.
A necrophilia reference here on GCR.
Yeah. Keep it
Keep
classy.
it classy.
Dead.
But yeah, existential horror to me is where real scares are at. Because existential horror is where you get shit like Cthulhu. Now everyone knows the pop culture reference Cthulhu. But what you don't understand is the nature of the creature. And when a lot of people read about it, like, because one of the things about Cthulhu and the associated stuff is insanity, the loss of sanity, the loss of control, and a lot of people don't understand why. And let me explain to you why just laying eyes on Cthulhu in the book drives people to the brink of insanity. It's because he shouldn't exist. He is something so beyond our comprehension, something so beyond our fathoming. It's like trying to understand how large the sun is in comparison to us. It's so large, we would not be able to quantify it. We can't even quantify in our heads the size of the planet we're on. But yeah, Call of Cthulhu and the associated material of Cthulhu mythos, that I find that just absolutely amazing. Existential horror is where I find the most terrifying material, the most mind-melting stuff. And it's so difficult to explain it because it's the nature of existential horror, and especially in the Cthulhu mythos, is that it is unexplainable. That
Right.
all of this stuff is so beyond our understanding that it drives men to the brink of sanity trying to understand it.
That's some heavy shit.
It is. That's why I like it.
Like, yeah, a lot of people, when they hear Cthulhu, Cthulhu's like you said, it's a huge icon now. Everyone
There
pretty
are
much knows
Cthulhu
what
plushies.
is. Yeah, but
I'd buy one.
I would too.
yeah,
This is not the
here.
point. The fact
But,
the fact that they exist though kind of tells you what Cthulhu has become in the pop culture.
Yeah, but imagine just seeing that rise out of the ocean.
Imagine.
So tall.
Let me paint a picture here, and let me do like a scary story since we know it's Halloween.
Go for it.
Imagine you're on a boat, carrying yourself across the North Atlantic, the cold, bitter wind biting at the back of your neck. You step out of your cabin to catch some fresh air. The rocking of the boat has your stomach churning. Unable to keep your lunch down, you hurl over the edge. And over the edge of the boat, you see ripples, but not coming from your boat, coming from something in the distance. You look up, and you see something rising out of the ocean, something causing such a great cacophony of sound that it drowns out everything else, just the sound of rushing water. It looks like an island, so massive in its shape, so massive in its size. Seems impossible. It's just getting bigger and bigger. And the moonlight cascades off it, giving you this eerie, leathery green aura around it. You can't understand it. What is it? It keeps rising and rising, and eventually 2 mounds of flesh crest out of the water, and under them, eyes as red as blood, glowing like suns in the night. And it gets higher and higher and higher, eventually blotting out the moon itself. 2 great wings sprout from its leathery hide. Writhing tentacles sprout from where its mouth should be. Huge arms rise up, claws as longer than your boat, and it looks at you. That.
And then it goes, hello, my honey, hello, my baby, hello, my ragtime gal.
Fuck you, I'm editing that out.
Ah.
Thank you. That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
You should hear me read The Raven. But yeah, that is existential horror. It's something so crazy, something so insane that you just can't comprehend it.
You used to believe it.
You refuse to believe it, which is what a lot of the stories are kind of based around, is people who either refuse to believe it or are going crazy because they tried to understand it. In fact, the Call of Cthulhu, I'm fairly sure, opens with someone talking to someone else in an insane asylum. It's weird that most of H.P. Lovecraft's stories at some point go to an insane asylum. Says something about the nature of his writing.
It's weird. I mean, if anyone has read H.P. Lovecraft, I don't think that's weird at all.
That's very true.
It's kind of natural.
It's just kind of how his stories seem to progress.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the horror genre as it is today. What are some of the biggest horror movies that have come out in the past few years? The Saw series.
Mm-hmm. Insidious.
Insidious, I hear, is actually fairly good.
It is really good. I've seen it. I highly recommend it. The demon itself may be a little underplayed, but it is really good movie. I enjoyed it.
It's one of those subtle horror movies, isn't it? I haven't actually been able to see it myself.
Well,
Isn't it one of those movies where there will be just a scene of people talking, and the camera will just pan over a little bit, and there will just be something standing in the background?
Oh, good God, yes. In fact, they pulled that off so well in that movie. There is a scene that I did not even notice until someone on YouTube pointed it out, and when I saw that, I was surprised. They pulled it off so well. I didn't even notice it. And they did it again in the second Insidious, which was Insidious.
Sequels are so very rarely better than the originals. Star Wars.
Oh, let's not go there. That's some true horror.
Yeah. Yeah, but fuck the prequels.
Technically, those are prequels.
Fuck you.
The prequels.
They came out afterwards. They are technically sequels.
Let's not even go there. We don't want to.
You don't want to fight this war, John.
That's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother series of episodes.
But Insidious 2, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It wasn't as good as the first, but it connected really, really well with the first. There were so many. I mean, at the end of Insidious 1, you thought that would be it. You thought it would be wrapped up. But Insidious 2 just answered questions you didn't even know were asked in the first movie. But back to what I was saying, it pulled that little trick off so well once more, and I actually caught it this time around, and yeah, I paused the movie, I rewinded it. It was there. They just add. Explain
the scene to us. Set it up for us.
Okay. So, the wife is she's alone in the house. She's doing some laundry. And the camera's focused on her. She's in the laundry room, and the camera's following her. You know, it's not switching places. It's focused on her and following her along. And she's walking to the living room. And in the living room, this was about a few months back that I saw it, but I'm going to try to recall it to the best of my memory. She's walking into the living room, and before she goes in, there's a hallway that leads into the living room. And to her right is a wall which has a hallway leading off one side into the living room, and if she goes past the wall, and it leads her into the other side of the living room. So you get to see, two sides of it. So anyway, she's walking, and if you pay close attention, you can see a figure sitting down in the armchair, and it's a woman's shape. She has a veil over her face, and you can see her sitting down.
Ooh.
But the minute they pass the wall, she's gone.
Ooh.
And you have to pay close attention to see that. I caught it the first time around because I'm gonna be honest. I love the Insidious movies. I love them, despite their faults. They're great movies, and I'm looking forward to the third one. But I just love how they can pull that off so well. And just that little scene, something happens after that scene, shit starts hitting the fan. The lady appears and screams at her, and she starts running, but she turns around and she's not there anymore. That happens. But the subtlety, the little amount of foreshadowing they had before it, that you could have seen it. It's the little things like that I just end up loving with movies.
That's good horror right there. That's good tension building. Because that's one thing that really makes horror jump out at people is tension. Is that mounting thought that any second now, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. And then nothing happens. And then you wait. You wait, and then you get that big, satisfying payoff. Problem is, a lot of times nowadays, it's jump scares.
Yeah. I'm so disappointed with movies and jump scares.
Jump scares are all well and good, in moderation, and if they're used correctly.
Like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Like Five Nights at Freddy's. Or, let's go old school, Alien.
Oh, yes.
Now, I always forget, which one was it that had just the one alien? Was it Alien or Aliens?
I haven't seen Aliens in a while, actually, but I'm pretty sure it was Alien.
It was Alien, the original. Because that's the one they were on the derelict space station, and Ripley's being chased down by the one alien.
That was just one.
Yeah, just one. That had some really fucking good moments in it. That is a horror classic.
I remember when I tried the AVP game that came out a few years ago. I was doing the normal Marine campaign or whatever it was called,
which was stupid.
The first time you see the alien in that game, I freaked the hell out.
Until it dies.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that at the time. I was thinking about how it was trying to open a door and staring me in the face.
Yeah. That's the thing that I've seen some of the Alien games get wrong when they try to build tension, especially anything that's a first-person shooter that tries to build tension. When you kill the monster, it stops being scary.
Yeah. You have a gun, and, you just... killing it, that's it. It's after you gun it down, you realize, hey, I can do this all the time. I don't have to be scared.
You know what's a good game that did horror right and had guns in it? Call of Cthulhu Dark Descent.
Dark Descent?
Dark Descent. It was a game that was actually ported over to the original Xbox at some point. It's I think it's on Steam. I have it on my computer. I've played quite a bit of it.
Wait, Dark Descent?
Yes.
Are you sure it's not Dark Corners of the Earth?
It is Dark Corners of the Earth. My problem.
Dark Descent's Amnesia.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dark Descent is Amnesia. Oh, Jesus, I'm so fucking stupid. Oh, God. Fuck, I'm dumb.
Oh,
Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth.
That
Yes,
game
that
is
is a game. I am sorry. That game is awesome.
oh hell yes.
So is Dark Descent. So is Amnesia Dark Descent. That is a good game as well. I think it borrows a lot from Dark Corners of the Earth as well. I think Amnesia took a lot actually from Dark Corners of the Earth now that I think about it, in a good way. And that's the thing about Dark Corners of the Earth. At some point, you start fighting deep ones, and oh god, what are they called? The fishmen.
Isn't that just what they're called? Fishmen?
They're called no. Well, I think that's what they're referred to, but they actually have a proper name in the Cthulhu mythos. But deep ones, essentially, is what they are.
Yeah.
And you can't kill them. Bullets just don't affect them. Which is scary as shit when you first find them, and you just start unloading your fucking revolver in them, and it doesn't even fucking flinch. That's when your fucking flight or fight response kicks in, and it tells you, get the fuck out of there.
Oh yeah. Oh, you gotta love it when a horror game can do that to you.
Or you're confident, you've got a gun, you feel like, I can do this. Bam, 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 bam. Click, click, click. I can't do this.
Oh, that game. Oh god.
Dark Corners of the Earth is great.
It has bugs, but
Yeah, of course it does. It's
Yeah.
an original Xbox era game.
All
but
games
if
have
you
bugs.
can get past that, it's worth it.
Yeah, some people would not be able to get past the dated graphics at this point. I don't think they're that bad though.
Well, the Halloween sale is going on Steam.
That's true.
And I think it may be reduced, before the sale ends.
It might be. We never know.
So if anyone is interested,
If you're hearing this, it's you might want to
It's a
check
good
out
game.
Steam.
and if you're still a little sketchy on it, I would recommend looking up gameplay. I mean, it is worth the money. It is worth the $10 it costs now on Steam. And I don't regret buying it.
Oh, me either. It's a good purchase.
But
Well, I think we've mentioned it a few times already, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Let's face it, we've all seen gameplay. We've
Yeah.
all seen Let's Plays of it.
it's all over YouTube.
It made the career of quite a few YouTubers. One of my favorite, which is Markiplier, it made his career.
To be honest, I haven't actually played it. I mean, I played it. I played well, this was actually last Halloween. I bought the Penumbra games and Amnesia,
Oh, yeah.
and I bought a lot of games.
For those of you who don't know, Penumbra, what was it? Penumbra Black Plague,
Overture and Requiem.
Overture, and Requiem. That's it.
Yeah, all those three.
Those are the games that the company that made Amnesia, the Chinese room.
Let me look it up.
I'm not sure who they are, but the company that made Amnesia made games beforehand, and those were the Penumbra games. So if you're a big fan of Amnesia, might want to check out those.
For
Frictional
some
games.
reason, I didn't watch a lot of.
Frictional. Okay, that's it. The Chinese room is someone else then.
For some reason, I don't remember watching a lot of like the Dark Descent playthroughs. Not sure what it was. Maybe I just wasn't interested at the time.
Nah.
Yeah.
I know. Watching a bunch of grown men cry like children is fucking entertaining.
I
Hell yeah.
did somewhat recently watch. A few folks play a Machine for Pigs, which I understand is a step down. But I gotta say, the thought of something running after you with the intent of killing you while squealing is freaking terrifying. Like
Oh,
as soon as I heard like the freaking squealing in Machine for Pigs, I was all like, "Oh my god, this guy's gonna freak out." And you know how I knew he was gonna freak out? Because I was freaking out.
just yeah, that's terrifying.
That's
really
that's a terrifying thought. It really is. There's some pig golem kind of shit is coming after you, and it's squealing. That'd be unnerving.
I might get it if I can run it. I'm not sure if I can though.
Yeah.
But honestly, Amnesia. Like I said, I've only played a little bit of it, but I have played the the game before it, Penumbra, and while I didn't beat it, it was definitely it was fun. It was really creepy. The atmosphere. Oh God, the atmosphere. The atmosphere was great in that game, and
That's what makes a really fucking good horror game really shine is the atmosphere. Makes movies work too. Because if you can't build a proper atmosphere around like your monster or your just the setting that they're in or the fear that they have, take Alien, the original Alien. It's on a cramped, dark space station.
right.
If you had set that shit in like on a planet in a big spacious colony, would not have had the same feel. Would not have been as scary. Just because the nature of the isolation, the nature of the closeness of the quarters, and the fact that you could turn a corner and there it would be, because it's such a small area, it's such a small cramped location.
Yeah, it's same reason why the thing works. Like I
Yeah.
said,
Isolationism.
that's got to be some of my favorite things. Isolation and just atmosphere. Isolation and atmosphere. Those two things can just completely fuck you up in a.
Yeah, you wanted a good
Yeah.
example of that? System
Yeah.
Shock 2, a game
Oh,
I cannot
yes.
play.
You can't?
I
You
I have the
scared?
ability to run it. I have the skills to play it. I just refuse to fucking play it.
Oh, you gotta play it, man. That game
I
is so
have.
good.
I know. But you know what? I got I got 30 minutes in. I was picking a lock on something. I got the contents out. I turn around and there is two of those fucking mutant things just fucking there. And I die.
It's
I
worse when you
flipped
hear
my
them.
shit. I heard nothing. They fucking snuck up on my ass. And I lost it. Holy damn it. I don't think I have ever screamed like that.
Oh god.
That game's atmosphere is so fucking oppressive.
It
Jesus Christ.
really-
It weighs on you like you're wearing
It
a backpack
hurts.
full of dark matter.
Everybody keeps talking about System Shock 2. Everybody keeps talking about System Shock 2. Like, I never hear anything about System Shock 1.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't played it, but System Shock 1 had very different than the second one from what I hear and what
Really?
I've seen. But System Shock 2, the reason everyone talks about it is just because of
Shodan?
how yes, Shodan, and because of how great it works. I mean,
It's got
Showdown was
quite a
in-
few solid mechanics in that game. That game runs that game I shouldn't say runs, I should say plays. Plays so fucking smooth. Like
Shodan.
it's kind of clunky, but it feels appropriate, you know? Like the UI is so odd. It seems so clunky's the only word I can think about it. But for some reason, it doesn't feel bad. It feels right.
You know what you're gonna end up doing, right?
What's that?
You're gonna end up talking up the game so much, and you're gonna want to go play it.
God damn it, you're right.
Well, you know, the what were they called? They had a name. The zombie guys.
Oh, fuck them. That's their name. That's the name I gave them.
Oh, damn it. What were they called? They were called the something. The Many. That's right. They were called the Many.
I never knew that.
Those things are terrifying, but if you went further into the game and encountered the Rumblers, oh my god, you would not want to play. 'Cause those things are fucking creepy. And you hear them roaring. Well, first of all, you hear them grunting around, if you're around the corner. But if you turn the corner and see a Rumbler, that thing is going to come charging at you. And it
You're
is
right,
going to...
that does sound terrifying in that game.
Anything that charges at you in that game, you just want to stay away from it.
Anything in that game, you just want to stay away from it. In fact, I just want to stay away from the game.
But for how long?
I don't know.
Like,
I might play it. I mean, I might play more of it. I might do a series on it. I don't know. I might record some gameplay of that.
I recommend do it for Shodan. Because if you want any reason to play System Shock 2, Shodan, the precursor to GLaDOS, do it for her. She is fucking terrifying. Oh my god, she is terrifying.
So I've heard.
She, just how she talks, how cold she is, how...
I mean, I've heard some of her dialogue. It's terrifying. It sounds fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah, it like
for those of you who have never played it, but I've played Portal, and you recognize that we're comparing her to GLaDOS. Imagine if GLaDOS wasn't funny, and instead was creepy.
Yeah, cold.
For
and,
for every ounce of funny and kind of odd and quirky GLaDOS is, reverse that with terrifying, and you've essentially got Shodan.
I can't let you do that, Dave.
Yeah, that's a good example actually. She is like
do that, Dave.
How?
Yeah, she's like how?
HAL 9000, wasn't it?
3,000?
HAL 3000, 9000, some thousand.
I don't know.
She's like how,
That guy sucks shit with
except yeah, it was the HAL 9000. She's like him, except except she just doesn't help you out. Everything is for her own gain. She forces you to help her because you really don't have a choice, and you need her help to get off the space station. To get off, the where you are. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I played this game.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't get that far into it before I fucking pissed myself and quit the game.
Yeah. Also, for those of you who don't know, BioShock was the spiritual successor to this game.
I was just about to bring that up. Since we're talking about System Shock, let's talk about its spiritual successors. And one of my first forays into horror and video games combined, which was the original BioShock. You want to talk about atmosphere? That game's got it in strobes.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
One of the most unique settings I've ever seen.
I tried to combine it in droves and like loads.
Well, you just made a new word. Let's use that now.
Yeah. Strobes, everybody. Hashtag on Twitter. #1 trending. Make
Trending worldwide.
Trending worldwide. Strodes.
Oh,
you fucking strode.
yeah.
Yeah, but BioShock atmosphere. That you want to talk oppressive atmosphere? BioShock.
Yeah.
Jesus
and Rhino's
Christ.
right. The setting is freaking unique.
Yeah. Underwater Utopia.
Yeah.
Underwater and Rand Utopia. Whoever fucking thought of that, please tell me what you were on. I want some.
I would like those two. I mean,
Because goddamn, it's genius.
because it's a utopia. It's this sprawling city.
Well, technically now it's a dystopia, but
Oh yeah. You think it's a utopia when you're going though, when you first start.
yeah. But then you get there and the spider thing starts cutting open your bathysphere and you start pissing yourself,
And then
As soon as you
screaming
get
like
there.
I did.
and then you see your first Big Daddy, and you're all like, "This is fucking awesome."
Oh
But then
yeah.
you're like, oh god, I'm just gonna, and then it starts walking towards you and you're like, no, and it just walks past you and you're like, okay.
Or if you're like me, you're all like, "Don't you fucking walk past me? Come on."
I remember,
Oh.
oh Jesus Christ, I remember, I think I was actually over at your house when we fought the first Big Daddy. You might have been over at mine, I'm not sure.
I'm gonna say you were over at my house, and like,
What happened?
I remember I hacked a bunch of turrets, and like I was convinced that the only time I was successful on the first time was that. What was that? It sort of got caught on one of the turrets, and the turret just unloaded into it after I pissed it off.
I think that game is so amazing and so unique because I think we can all remember our first Big Daddy fight. That's that's how memorable that villain was. That that character was. Those characters were.
Best video game in like years to date.
Absolutely.
Really memorable,
And not
They
to
don't get
mention
characters.
the characters and the story to BioShock were just so damn good. And the scares were fucking real. The terror was real in fucking BioShock. I still remember the most vivid scene in the original BioShock for me
Yeah.
is when you first get the shotgun. If you remember, it's a completely dark room except for one spotlight
Oh yeah.
in the middle of the room. And in the middle of that spotlight is a dead body with a shotgun and it's fucking glowing. And you pick it up, all the fucking lights go out, and all of a sudden, all you see is beady red fucking eyes and people screaming. And then the light comes back on, and there's like 5 splicers just fucking there.
I'll play Bioshock again.
Yeah,
Me
me too. I might buy it for. I actually do have it. I might play it later. You know what really got me in that game though? The fucking mannequins.
Oh god.
Oh my god! Especially,
Can we just
I don't
all
remember-
agree that fuck mannequins?
yeah, just in general, if your horror game has mannequins, you're gonna scare the shit out of somebody.
You guys-
How about this? If your horror game has mannequins, fuck you.
Oh my god.
You guys should play Craven Manor.
I've seen gameplay of that. Not fucking doing that.
Okay, but yeah, I remember with I forgot where it was. Ah, man, it's been so long since I've played BioShock 1. I remember this scene where you had to walk past a bunch of mannequins, and I think it was actually in a flooded room, now that I remember. You have to go to the end of the room and get something, then you have to walk back out. And you go to the end of the room, and every so often when you turn around, you find that the mannequins are moving. They're getting closer to you.
Oh,
And
yeah,
right
I
when
remember
you-
that.
Right when you get to the end of the room, they're just like, they're not around you, but they're
They're there.
far. Yeah, they're there. They've moved from where they once were, and you can. Yeah, that's when they just bust out and try to kill you, and they don't say anything at all. They're just silent all the while, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're completely silent.
Yeah, and ooh, do you guys remember the dentist?
Oh fuck.
Come on, I can't be the only one who remembers him.
Oh God, I think for a majority of my life, I played through games without really paying attention to anything. I know that sounds weird, but I think it's.
I think we all were at a point in our
Yeah.
lives where we didn't care about what we played. We just played for the fun of it.
We've all been guilty of that.
Yeah.
When I first played BioShock, I didn't have the thought present in my mind that hey, this is a horror game. I thought, hey, this is just a really unique shooter. Like I didn't know. I do now.
We were younger.
Yeah.
They were simpler times.
And I was mesmerized by how awesome the bouncer was.
The bouncer was fucking amazing.
The bouncer, henceforth referred to as the Big Daddy.
The Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Like the other two, bleh. But the bouncer.
Wait, what are the other two?
Yeah.
I know
the
there was the
Rosie?
Rosie.
Oh wait, the other one, because I think
Then there was the Delta.
Then I think the other real Big Daddy that I'm thinking of is in the Forbidden Zone. The Forbidden Zone with a 2 on it.
You know, now that I think about it, I guess I can see why there's a good amount of people who don't like Infinite, because the atmosphere wasn't as great as it was in BioShock 1.
It
even
didn't
2.
seem to want to focus on horror at all.
Yeah, it's more action. Yeah.
Which I understand the story of that game's awesome.
But
The Handyman. Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
compare the fucking Handyman to the Big Daddies.
yeah. Who are you gonna remember? Who are you gonna remember more?
The guy coming at you with a drill.
Yeah.
The guy
and
coming out with
moaning.
the drill
The
and-
guy with that huge fucking weird bubble head with all those fucking lights on it that turn red whenever it fucking gets pissed off.
And they
it's
explained it.
moaning and screaming inside of its own suit, but it sounds so messed up. And then there's the fucking drill.
I think they explained the Big Daddies as like being. I don't know. I had it figured out that they were just organs stuffed into a suit, but
That's essentially what they became. They were originally people in suits, but the modification of them became so extreme that eventually they became the suits.
That's another good thing about horror.
Oh yeah.
Something like that, like shit like that can happen. I mean, shit like that happens in this universe, and you know, when you finally start thinking that someone went through that, someone couldn't cry out, someone had to experience all of that.
I have no mouth and I must scream.
Exactly. That's another great example of that.
I never actually played that game.
I haven't played it either. I haven't read the book. I've seen gameplay of it. I've seen gameplay of the game itself, but it looks confusing.
It does.
I mean, yeah, it looks
point and click
fun, though.
horror. Interesting.
sort of lost track of time. How long have we been going?
Oh wow, we've been going for 61 minutes.
Oh shit!
We hit the hour mark, guys. We
So what
actually
now?
thought we weren't gonna have enough material to cover an hour.
I still wanted to talk about creepypasta.
Oh fuck. We'll have to record another episode about horror, and we'll have to
Oh, yeah.
focus more on
Horror 2.0 coming next Halloween.
horror 2.0. Maybe coming next Halloween, maybe coming around whenever we damn well feel like it.
Yeah.
Whenever we damn well feel like it's my favorite time of the year.
Oh yeah, I know, right? It's a great time. It's my favorite time of day as well. All right, I've been John.
I've been Drift, the outsider.
And I've been Ryan with the Legend, also really fucking quiet. And happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody, from Game Cult
Happy
Radio.
Halloween.
Watch out for skeletons.